Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is your boy, the Master of Coin. A lot of people have been asking me, Kieran, what's the best crypto to get involved with? When's the best time to buy Bitcoin? How do I do this? How do I do that? Guys, today I'm gonna completely blow your mind. What we're gonna be speaking about today is how you, yes, you can start to accumulate more Bitcoins. What do I mean? How do you accumulate more Bitcoins? Ain't that a scam? Don't worry, let me break this down. You see, guys, what you can do, you can actually use something called an altcoin. An altcoin stands for an alternative coin. You see, an altcoin is anything other than Bitcoin. In the cryptocurrency space, there are so many different coins. Let's pass over to CoinMarketCap and let's actually start looking at all the different cryptos and let's really see exactly how we can start to multiply our Bitcoin holdings. We're on this website here called CoinMarketCap, and I want to draw your attention up here. Total currencies in the top left. Guys, we've got over 8,000 cryptocurrencies within the cryptocurrency space. The main coin that we're after is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, look, is the be all and end all. It's the Don Corleone. It is the start and it is the end. Bitcoin is everything. You see, Bitcoin is the gold of the digital currency scene. Now, guys, there's so many different altcoins. And don't get me wrong, these altcoins do outperform Bitcoin. You know, I can give you guys so many examples of other projects I've been involved with, and I'm going to show you guys some examples that have completely outperformed Bitcoin.
Nice.
When you have a project that you can anticipate is going to outpace Bitcoin, you can actually use that as a means of accumulating more Bitcoin. However, we don't want to be using these altcoins to accumulate more dollars. Because, guys, the altcoins, let me be real, most of them are trash. Let me be honest with you. And because most of them are trash and don't serve that many use cases, we want to be using them just as a means to get more BTC. Because that's the one which everyone wants. That's where the demand is. So how do we actually go about doing that? Well, it's understanding something called alt season. You see, guys, alt season is a period where the money starts flowing out of Bitcoin and then starts flowing into all the other cryptocurrency. Now, once the money flows out of Bitcoin and starts to flow into all the other currencies, again, we can see the prices start to exponentially rise. And the reason they outperform Bitcoin is simply because of market cap. Think of it like this. Imagine if we got 100 apples in the bowl and we put £100 into this bowl. That would mean that each apple is worth £1, right? 100 apples, £100. But what if we went and put £1,000 into that pot of apples? Well, each one of these apples is going to go from £1 to £10. If you put £10,000 in, what's going to happen? Well, each one of these apples are going to be worth £100 now. And if you originally brought it at £1 and then now your apple's worth £100, you just made a great gain. What I'm saying is this: these coins, because of the market cap, because they're slept on, because there's less money in the space, when more money comes in, it becomes easier for that project to exponentially grow. It's not based on price, it's based on percentage return on investment. So this example, guys, is Ethereum. Check this out. If you would have got into Ethereum, right, back in 2015, back at the start of the bull run, you see the price of Ethereum at this lowest point was around 41 cents. Today, you know, we're coming up to 2,000 and plus. Now, let's just round this up and let's just say it was 50 cents, right? Now, if you actually managed to get in Ethereum at 50 cents and you would have rode that to the all-time high, that would have been your percentage return on investment. Now, if we compare this to Bitcoin in 2015, let's see what happened. We go back, you know, to the bottom of the bull run where Bitcoin was, down here. Let's look at the date. Back in 2015 when we bottomed out, Bitcoin ran up to 20K. You see, Bitcoin done a 10,000% ROI compared to Ethereum. We can see that Ethereum completely blew it out the park. Well, you might be thinking, Kieran, well, why the hell would I buy Bitcoin when I can buy Ethereum and make more money? You see, guys, remember, Bitcoins are here to stay. Bitcoin, because it was the original cryptocurrency and because of its use case, because of its adoption rate, because of the problems that it solves, the partnerships that are already getting involved, you see, Bitcoin is here to stay. We only want to be using these altcoins as a means to accumulate more Bitcoin. So how do we do that? Well, what we can start to do is we can actually look at a chart called ETH BTC. Just like we have currency, just like we have, you know, pound versus dollar, we also have Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And this is applicable to all the other cryptos as well. So check this out. let's do some quick maths. Now, before we actually get into the maths, guys, quick disclaimer, past profits do not guarantee future results. I am not a financial advisor and results are not typical. So, back in 2015, if you would have had $1,000 and you would have invested $1,000 into Ethereum at 50 cents a piece, you would then have 2,000 Ethereum tokens. Check this out. Those 2,000 Ethereum tokens, if you actually managed to hold that out for the entire 2015, 2016 to 2017 bull run, which lasted around 800 days, you would have had 2,000 Ethereum compared to if you put that £1,000 into Bitcoin, you would have only had 5 Bitcoins. Now, once these actually managed to go to their all-time highs, and assuming you got in and got out of the all-time high, this is what could have potentially been made. Again, past profits do not guarantee future results. I'm not claiming any sort of income. But quick maths. If we see 2,000 Ethereum and its all-time high was $1,614, 2,000 Ethereum times 1,614, we would have had 3.2 million. Now, if you would have cashed out in Bitcoin, guys, that original 1,000 would have turned to 100,000. So don't get me wrong, these are still incredible gains, and cryptocurrency is the only place that you can you can basically say, oh, you know what, I could have turned 1,000 into a lot more than 100k. You see, this is the only industry where we can do that. Guys, cryptocurrency is completely changing the game. What's the real source? How do you start to accumulate more Bitcoins? And how do you actually capitalize further? Well, check this out. We mentioned that the charts have a relationship to Bitcoin. So if we actually pull up ETH, BTC. So guys, remember, just like currencies have exchange rates, crypto to crypto also has exchange rates. So now what we're looking at on screen here is the Ethereum against Bitcoin chart. And this is a position that I'm already in at the moment, and I'm really excited for this. So if we actually look at the past data, that's where the answers for the present are going to be found. History always repeats itself. So if we go back to 2015 and we see when Ethereum's chart against Bitcoin, back in October, when Ethereum was around 50 cents a coin, the value for Ethereum against Bitcoin was 0.00143 blah 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 blah. Meaning for each Ethereum you had, that's exactly how much Bitcoin you would have got. What we can actually do is we can come over to this exchange called Binance. Now Binance, what they allow you to do is if you come up here to trade and come down to advanced, what you can actually start to do is you can trade these cryptos against cryptos. Okay, cool. So now we're on Binance. What we can actually do is we can actually look at the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart as well. So all you got to do is literally come over here, tap in ETH BTC, and then you got your ETH BTC chart. So what we're going on the basis now is back in 2015, when Ethereum was 50 cents a coin, you would have invested $1,000 US. So again, $1,000 US in 2015 would have got you 2,000 Ethereum. So if we put in 2,000 Ethereum here, because that's how many Ethereum we would have had for that bull run when it maxed out at around $1,600. So now we look at the chart and we look at the value of Ethereum against Bitcoin. And what we can see here, again, it's 0.15, meaning for each Ethereum, we're going to get 0.15 Bitcoin. Now, if we put this in here, we can see that, guys, that bull run would have made us 314 Bitcoin. I'm rich. 314 Bitcoins. Check this out. What happens now? Remember the date. This peaked out 12th of June 2017. Now let's go back to the Bitcoin chart when this peaked out. 12th of June. The 12th of June in 2017. Bitcoin's price on the 12th of June 2017, when Ethereum maxed out and reached its all-time high, $2,926 a coin. This is where it gets crazy. You can now make more money by taking your altcoin, and then once they top out at the end of alt season, you can then exchange them back into Bitcoins, and then you can catch that final rally. Because guys, what happens? It's the money flow. The money flows out of Bitcoin and then flows into the altcoins. And eventually people realize the altcoins are just tokens to really get more Bitcoin, and they're shit. That's why they're called shitcoins. So then the money will flow out of the altcoins and back into Bitcoin. Hence why Bitcoin continues to tear and go on a drastic rally. If you would exchange that, you would have had 314 Bitcoins here. When 314 Bitcoins went up to $20,000, well guys, you can do the maths. You would have made a lot more money getting involved and doing this altcoin to Bitcoin transaction, and it's all based on the Bitcoin dominance. So what we're looking at now is the Bitcoin dominance chart. We can see back in 2015 up here, right? Back in 2015, the Bitcoin dominance was very, very high, over 90%. And that means that the in total money in the market, in the total crypto space, 97% of it in 2015 was in Bitcoin. Then what happened? As the technology started to develop, people started realizing there was other coins. And because of the market cap, which we broke down earlier, they understood that, okay, there's potentially more gains. So what we can see, as the Bitcoin bull run starts to go and go and go, and the alt season starts to kick in, what happens? The dominance starts to drop off. Now, what does that mean? When the dominance is dropping off, that means the money is flowing out of Bitcoin and now flowing into the altcoins and other cryptocurrency. So what I'm getting at, guys, is this. Do you want to be observing the money flow in the cryptocurrency space? Look, guys, I'm not sitting here claiming I've made this or I haven't made this. What I'm simply doing is educating you guys on the potential opportunities that are coming up this year. You see, guys, as of today, the 21st of February 2021, we are already in alt season. We are already seeing different cryptocurrencies pace Bitcoin completely. Let me give you another example. Binance Coin, the world's largest exchange. It was inevitable that this was going to go up. Now, if we just compare from March, the Black Swan event, when the markets crashed and we had that Black Swan, let's go to the low. Back on that low, Binance Coin was around $6.50. So from $6.50 to all-time high, that's around 5,200% ROI on Binance Coin. Now let's look at Bitcoin. If we go to the March crash and we look at the cheapest price Bitcoin was in the crash of March, and we take it to current all-time highs is what we're currently trading at today, well, that's only 1,400% ROI. Guys, we're talking about 14x compared to 50x. So what I'm saying is this, guys, we're in the largest wealth transfer. You see, what is happening? The reason there are so much insane gains is because the US dollar is weakening and fiat currencies are also weakening. You see, guys, what I want you to understand, the reason these gains are so absolutely insane is because we are in the largest wealth transfer the world has ever seen. People are waking up to the monetary system. They're waking up to inflation. You see, guys, inflation is the biggest scam we have ever been told. What do I mean? Guys, the Federal Reserve literally have the power to print as much money on demand whenever they want. The central banks, they all have power to print money when they want. So what does that naturally do? Supply and demand. So as we were saying about supply and demand, inflation is literally silently robbing you every single day. What is inflation? You see, as there is no cap on the amount of fiat currencies that can be produced, well, what happens if we look at this supply and demand graph right now? You know, we've got price on the left, we've got quantity on the bottom, our demand line and our supply line. What we can actually see is that once the supply is increased, once the quantity becomes increased, the value, the price naturally becomes lower. You know, think about it. It's like comparing Louis Vuitton to Primark. You see, Louis Vuitton, they can charge £500 for a wallet because they're only going to make a few. Compared to Primark, they charge £5 for a wallet, but they're going to make loads and loads and loads. So it's that natural supply and demand. Because there's so much supply of the fiat currencies, literally there's almost infinite. Like, guys, 30% of all US dollars that has ever been created were literally created in the year 2020. But this is why Bitcoin is so revolutionary. Because Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies, there's a very limited supply. Guys, there's only 21 million Bitcoins and around 7 to 8 billion humans. Not everyone is going to be able to have a whole Bitcoin. Guys, I'm telling you, eventually Bitcoin will hit $1 million. But in order for it to go to $1 million, it needs to wash a lot of people out. Guys, you need to remember these financial markets, and most people are losing. This is not a logical market. We are witnessing the growth of technology. We are witnessing an emotional market cycle. When you can understand the emotions, when you can understand the flow, the money flow within the cryptocurrency space, how it flows out from Bitcoin into altcoins, as it flows back from the altcoins back to Bitcoins, we can use this to get exponential gains. So what am I saying? Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you guys to swap out your coins to what coins or the other. All I can tell you is what I'm doing. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm focusing less on Bitcoin and I'm actually focusing more on altcoins because I'm playing the longer term move. I want to capitalize on alt season. so that I can get the exponential gains that the altcoins experience because the money starts to flow out of Bitcoin. And then once the altcoins top out, and how are we going to know when they top out? Well, that's something for the team. But once they do top out, we will be able to cash out into Bitcoin, not US dollars, not fiat. We'll be able to cash out our Ethereum or our other altcoins which we're using. And guys, we've got some other altcoins we're cooking up that have some insane gains as well. Now, what we can do is we can use these altcoins, take them back to Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin then continues to go higher. So, for an example, what we're seeing here, again, this is just something I literally just drew up, is the money flow against time. For example, the black line is Bitcoin's price and the blue line would be Ethereum's price. So again, we see Ethereum when the bull run and the alt season really commences, we see the money flow out of Bitcoin into Ethereum, so Ethereum will then outperform in percentage gains. The US dollar value does not matter. Guys, look, Bitcoin going from 50,000 to 100,000 is only 100% ROI. But then if we compare something that went from $5 to let's say $20, then that ROI would be 300%. Don't get so caught up on the US dollar value, because that is, again, like, what is US dollars? It's literally made out of thin air. We want to be using these altcoins as a means to accumulate more BTC. Once we top out on the Bitcoin run, we then want to get out, and then we want to obviously follow our exit strategy. So guys, I just realized I didn't record an outro. So thank you all for watching. And if you guys did get value, I'd love to hear what you guys liked and what you guys learned. So please, please, please drop a comment. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you learned. Drop a like, yo, subscribe, and I'll see you all next week for our next video. If you're not subscribed to our Telegram for constant daily updates, make sure you are. Everything will be in the description. And with that being said, Master a Coin, we are out. And I'm going to see you all at the top, because the bottom is way too crowded. Sheesh.